Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines 2, where we are in the city of Tampere, and I'm just absolutely loving these views. I think this city is really coming together. And so today we actually have quite a big project, but I did want to kind of go over just some of the small changes we made in the last episode. So we ended up doing this large plaza in here, which I think looks absolutely amazing. I'm still not really a fan of some of these dead spaces, but I think it looks good. It has that kind of grayish color because of the winter and still having issues with the Weather Plus app, but I'm hoping that there's going to be an update here soon. We did also add in this station over here, and so along with some of the education additions, I think we're going to be adding in probably a college or university over here just to kind of fill in the space. And so today we're going to be getting a little crazy. If we jump into the education tab, we can see that we are really suffering. The whole city's pretty suffering. There's just no education. Like, we're kind of just throwing our people to the wind at this point. The only thing we kind of have covered is the elementary school, and even then we're still about 10,000 or 8,000 or so students undercovered, and these schools don't have the ability to be overstaffed. Like, I think they can be mildly overstaffed in some instances, but they pretty much have a hard cutoff limit at 1,500. And so we need to add in probably about like 6 to 7 elementary schools, and we need to add in quite a few high schools. I think the high schools are about 2,000 each, so we need to add in probably like three or four of them, and then I want to do a couple colleges, and then we're probably just going to do a few of the universities, but then the technical university, because I really like this building, and it gives our city some nice bonuses, like plus 10 industrial efficiency citywide, which is huge, and then plus 10 office efficiency, which is awesome to see as well. And so our economy is still humming along pretty good. If we go into the loans tab, we can see we still have a monthly surplus of 4 million, which is quite a bit, especially considering all of our taxes are only at 10%, but a lot of it has to do with just our building upgrades. And so if we go all the way into our tab, we can go into building level, and you can see that we have a pretty large portion of these buildings that are already, level 3, level 4. You can see level 5 for residential is pretty high. And then level 5 for industrial. This is huge. This means that our overall tax income from these is just massive. And it had a lot to do with me just lowering the taxes for so long. Like, I had taxes at 5% for so long because we were just generating so much money before Economy 2.0. And so I'm really hoping with these education fixes, we'll be able to solve a lot of our education problems, and maybe even allow some of the adults now to go back to high school and get re-educated and stuff. And maybe we can bump up this poorly educated a little bit. Given this is going to take a little bit of time, but let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so the first thing we are going to do is actually just look at our elementary coverage and see what we can do. We kind of already spammed a lot of these, but you can see as we get over here, it's just a little bit thinner. We only have 3 elementaries for our downtown, and this would be a huge population of our students. And it actually looks like we maybe didn't even upgrade this one. So we would want to definitely upgrade that. And then let's go and make sure that one's upgraded. Ooh, this one's not upgraded too. What happened here? That's very interesting. I could have swore we upgraded that. So this one was our initial one, which is upgraded. But let's go ahead. I'm thinking we're going to need to add in at least one more in this area if we could. I know it's already really tight, but I'm wondering if maybe we could get one down here somewhere. Like, I think this would just be fantastic if we could. I'm wondering even in this spot right here, we're going to, smash a lot of stuff, but honestly, this is going to be so necessary for this area. And so now let's go ahead and upgrade that. And then I would like to get at least this in there. Yeah, just because, having the playground there is pretty necessary. This is an elementary school. And so now this should boost up quite a bit. Let's go ahead and check that coverage real fast. So yeah, we definitely need about 2 to 3 more. So I'm thinking over here would probably be good. So we have 2 covering this area. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 covering this area. 1 over here. I'm wondering if even right in here would be good, because we really don't have a lot of coverage for this area, given it's mostly commercial. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is this one upgraded? Yeah, it is. 7, 8, 9. You definitely need a lot of elementaries. Elementaries are kind of the Achilles heel at this point. So what we're going to do, and I've been kind of playing around with this for a while. I think this is a good time for it. These people would be incredibly upset, given I'm sure the developer or the city, whoever ended up funding this project, would have just purchased out that land. But what we're going to do is actually provide some access in here. So we're going to go this way, and then that way what we can do is actually just have this kind of jet off. I'm wondering if we're even going to have enough room that way. I don't think we're going to. Let's go ahead and remove this, remove that. Let's get rid of these homes. And then I'm thinking what we're going to do is go like this, and then let's go ahead and just turn this. And that's just a way to kind of give it a little bit of interest. Then that way what we can do is actually place this. And I'm wondering if we can, let's go ahead and place it in the middle just because that curve, I think it's going to look a little bit better. So if we go like that, now with the new addition of not having it to be attached to the building, we can go ahead and place that like that. And then let's go ahead and place this over here. Let's go ahead and go right there. Yeah, look at that. Fantastic. And one of the cool things too we can do is just kind of add in a couple little buildings in here, maybe even a basketball court if we could get it. Yeah, look at that. So now we've kind of turned it into a little schooling area as well. And then we could even do something small on this side too. Like maybe we could do some row housing. That could be good. It's like if we grab this, just go up. We want it to be at a 180. And then let's go ahead and turn it just a bit to kind of follow that other side. And then we'll have this go all the way out here and then curve. And then that way what we can do is actually just connect this up. Fantastic. And then I think what we're going to do, let's go ahead and bring this across. And then let's go. Where did my zoning guy go? No, he's gone. All right, where is this guy at? Zoning adjuster. All right, well, it appears as though my zoning adjuster may be having a conflict with preserve photo mode. And so we are just going to go back to the tried and true use of pathways. I know this kind of sucks, but you know what? We're going to ride with it. This is a better option anyways. We're just going to tell ourselves this is what we prefer. But then now what we can do is go in here. Let's go to our North American row housing because they give us some nice little pretty square buildings, which is nice. Let's get our pathway up here. Perfect. Let's go ahead and fill that in. And then what we're going to do is choose the marquee selection. I'm just going to go like that. And then I think for these other sections, what we're going to do is actually just put in a small park. I think by adding in, filling in this zoning around the outside, it's just going to create some weird kind of buildings in there. So let's go ahead and unpause, let this kind of build out, and then maybe we'll even come back here. But I think for right now, this is probably good because then we could even just do some pathways, kind of turn it into a park area or something, kind of snake in between those houses. And this is actually kind of nice, and this is something that you do see in housing developments a lot, where you have these kind of green paths just snake through the neighborhood. And then I'm wondering if right here we could even get like a small apartment complex. You know what? Let's just see what it gives us. We may come back through here and replay with that because I don't know if that's gonna be the solution for this area. But I do think back here, what we're gonna do is some housing. So we'll go just like that. Let's go ahead and switch it up just so we can get a little bit of difference in here. Go just like that, fantastic. And then follow that same kind of theology, go the 2x3s. We're gonna skip that section and then let's do just a small bit of row housing right there. And there we go. So again, we kind of get that broken nature of the housings. Yeah, you know, these people will be okay, hopefully. So we'll go like that. Go like this, go like that, and subtly let them figure themselves out. They're not going to get forced out because I've disabled abandonment, but that is still something that, we would want to keep an eye on. Let's do a small bit of commercial in this little area. And so, especially once we come back through and do some trees and stuff, I think this is going to look good. We're on a little bit of a hill. I guess I didn't really notice that. But then we can come through here and just kind of dot in some of these. I'm going to turn on anarchy as well so we can get them just a little bit closer and then do some bushes and stuff too. Even with anarchy, you still get these conflicts with some of the trees where they disappear. But you know what? This looks really good. A lot of times, you just get a little tree in there. It really makes a big difference. You know what? I think that looks good. I'm satisfied with this. And so let's go ahead and move on. Let's check out our elementary again. So we've definitely boosted it up. So we could probably get one more over here. I think this could be good, especially we don't have any zoning along this row for some reason. I'm not really sure why we don't, but I think we did have a plan at some point. We had some sort of reasoning behind that. And so we're going to go ahead and go like this. And then let's remove the single family housing off the backside. Let's move that into, it's because I feel like it's just going to look a little bit better. And then let's pause real quick. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this as well. Get rid of the single family housing. And then let's just turn this into the North American row housing. And I'm just going to do 3 buys because I think it just tends to look a little better rather than having the big lots for these. Yeah, so if we go all the way down now, we can go just like that. And then what we can do is just create a small connection in there. You guys kind of saw me do this in the downtown. I think it just looks a lot better. And again, we're Gonna have a little bit of issues with this zoning. I'm just gonna go ahead and draw these in real quick. And just a few seconds later, I got those pathways in. So now we are gonna go like this. And then I'm tempted to get just a row of commercial off of this, because I know we still have quite a bit of demand for commercial. And I wonder what our unemployment status is. So if we go to population, so our unemployment status is still very high. A lot of that might have to do with empty buildings, but honestly, we're going to check that out. That is not something that we're potentially going to do on this episode, though. So let's get this done. I think we can fit it in that corner. You know what? We're going to anarchy it. I want to get it in there because it's barely nixing the corner of that. Like I want to get that out. Yeah, that looks good. And we unlocked a new signature building. And so it does kind of clip that edge a little bit. What we can do is go into find it, go to props, go to surfaces, and then grab this, have it go right there. Fantastic. Go right there, and then we can go like that. Look at that. 2 seconds later, we are good to go. That looks pretty fantastic if I don't say myself. And I like that we got the row housing in here. I think that that's going to be really good, especially close to the park. We're close to some kind of denser commercial uses, or at least a commercial kind of area. And then that leads us to this area. And so we are going to place a few of our newer kind of schools in this area just because we have a lot of room for growth. And so what we're going to do, we're actually going to extend this all the way out. And I wanted to kind of play with the heights. I know we have a little bit of bumpiness in here. And so I'm not going to go through and smoothen it out. I would prefer it to kind of play into it. One thing that we are going to do, though, is we are going to create a freeway connection in here. This is just going to help alleviate everybody that's kind of coming down. And it looks like that's a 14% grade. That is not something that we want to encourage. 14% grade is massive. 8% still pretty big, but honestly, it's a lot more doable. And let's bring our step down a little bit. I think the 10-meter step is just a little too much for the basic step. Having a 30-foot bridge is pretty high when, especially in America, most of the clearances just need to be about like 15 feet or so, or 17 feet, I think it is. 7.5 seems to work out the best. So now we're going to come all the way down, and you see that I only had a 5% grade too. That's a lot better. But then that way, what we can do, let's actually kind of curve this in here and give this a little bit of interest. Perfect. And that way it kind of just breaks it up a little bit. A lot of times you can use roads to create, little man-made barriers so that for your neighborhoods, it just looks a little bit better. And then let's extend this out, because I feel like, what are we going to do with this? So we have like kind of this roundabout or one-way thing kind of going on in here. I think we're going to upgrade this because I just don't think that we need it. I really don't. Like initially we were thinking that this was going to be some, denser area, but we just kind of kept it as a low density. And so I think having it two-way is going to be better, and it provides that street parking as well, because on the one ways it kind of blocks it a little bit. So I think that's good. Let's go ahead and extend out this neighborhood just so that we can get it to kind of blend in. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and throw in just a basic little freeway entrance in here real quick. And just a few seconds later, I got it in there. And so now what we're going to do is add in a roundabout. Man, we are doing a lot on this one. So let's go ahead and check out some of our buildings now. So we know we definitely need to get a high school. I don't even know if we have a high school over here. So we have college, elementary. So we want to get one elementary. I'm thinking even in this section right here, it is pretty close to this other elementary, but honestly in real life, a lot of times elementaries are super close to each other. So we're going to go just like that. And then that way what we can do is actually extend this road out, and then let's actually have this road cut across. I guess we had anarchy on. Let's just move that. Yeah, that's better. And then I think these homes are still going to be all jacked up. Let's upgrade that, and then we will do the little health clinic over there, and then let's do this over here just because we can. And then that way we can now do a road across the back. And then let's go ahead and bring this road in. We're probably going to do just a small bit of residential in here. This is going to be pretty important for us. So if we go just like that and then bring this all the way back, make a little cul-de-sac-ish kind of area. So we're going to go just like that. And then I'm just going to throw in some of pathways real quick. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and do the same thing here. Remove those pathways. Let's go ahead and connect this up. And I mean, one of the good things with being forced to utilize pathways is it does require you to use them a little bit more, because I know a lot of times people just kind of forget about pathways, and pathways are super important. The more pathways that you utilize, the more people will use them. And so I think that this right here is probably a pretty good little neighborhood. Let's go ahead and connect this up, and then let's continue this on. We'll bring this all the way up to the main road. And just a few seconds later, I got some parks in as well, just to kind of clean it up, make it look a little bit better, you know, like a neighborhood that people would want to live in. And then let's grab some pathways just to, again, clean it up a bit. You don't need to get crazy with pathways a lot. They can really go a long ways to make a build just look a little bit better. Like you see how just those couple pathways. And then all we would really need to do is just grab a couple little trees. Yeah, look at that. I mean, this looks great, especially with some of those open areas. And another little trick is to just use bushes as well. So if you put bushes below the trees, it just kind of gives the impression of foliage, which just makes it look a little bit more realistic. It's kind of interesting. We got all the black ones in there. I don't know if I like that as much. It kind of looks a little weird. But you know, we're going to keep it. Yeah, I think it looks okay. And then we'll come back over here, place a couple little trees. Yeah, look at that. Fantastic. Man, I'm already really liking this. We're doing a lot. So now we have some residential coming in. We have our elementary over there. Let's go ahead and place a high school right on this corner. Let's turn off anarchy. And of course, it's going to give us a reading error for something that's probably nowhere nearby. That's that pathway. And then let's try that again. We'll go just like that. Fantastic. And then that way we can upgrade both of these. And honestly, I think we even have enough space to be able to put in this, which would be awesome. Put in our road first. We can have kind of a road going through the campus, which could be good. And then that way we can grab our little stadium and go just like that. Fantastic. I actually really like that they did this because at least where I'm from, it's really common for pretty much every school to have some sort of stadium like this. And so I think it just is, especially for the Americans out there, it's a little bit more realistic. So then we'll go like this, and then I would like to potentially even get the soccer field. I wonder if we could. Yeah, so would like to get it. Yeah, you know what? I like that a lot. I think that looks fantastic. And then let's get a couple small basketball courts, because you always got to have basketball for your schooling areas. And then it would be nice to get a tennis court. I just don't know if we're going to be able to fit it in there. Maybe if we'll go like this. Yeah, I think this way we'll be able to. So if we go like this, and then allow the game to switch, which it's not going to do. So I'm going to turn off snapping. Yeah, look at that. I like that a lot. And then let's check that out. So it's already pretty high. We need at least probably 3 more of those. I'm really surprised we don't have more high schools. Like, where is our high school over here? Did we not place a high school? Because I think, yeah, that's a college. I thought so. We did an elementary school, How did we not place a high school over here? This is just crazy. We would definitely need to get another one. I'm kind of eyeballing this little middle section. I think this would be a good location for us to kind of take over. You know, we're going to have to extend this out even further. Yeah, more people are going to be upset, but honestly, once we get the school in there, it's really going to make a big difference. And I feel like this is just something that, you know, the city kind of overlooked. Like, yes, it's 100% our fault, but now we need to fix it. And so let's go ahead and bring this down. Fantastic. And then now we should be able to fit this in here. Let's go ahead and get all that zoning done. I think we will remove this as well. It's kind of off the side road. I think that's good. Yeah, we'll go just like that. And at least we're kind of near our little sports area. We definitely would still want to get some basketball and stuff in here. And so we will bring this back, and then let's go ahead and connect it up. Fantastic. And then let's do a tennis court. We'll do one right there. And then let's do a couple basketball courts, maybe even like 3 of them. And so let's unpause now, as all these people are just going to be furious. Their homes all drastically, just magically disappeared. But, you know, I'm sorry, guys. It's all in the name of schooling. Schooling's pretty important. Then let's go ahead and fill in these little corners with just some small shops. Yeah, I think that'll be good. And then all we really need to do is go in here, grab a couple little trees, and just dot them around. Man, look at this. Look at all these people. Ooh, I wonder how long they're going to be stuck. Look at this. Yeah, so they're homeless. They do have jobs, so I'm hoping they just get kind of ironed out here quick. So we'll go ahead and go like this. Let's turn on anarchy. A lot of times they get picked up right away. Sometimes those people do actually get stuck. We'll do some oaks in this one as well, just to give it a little bit more density, I guess. Yeah, for the trees. That's already looking pretty good. And then that way we can also grab this, do a pathway across. Fantastic. And I think we're already making some pretty good progress. Let's go ahead and check that out again. So we have added 2 high schools, which would be a huge investment for the city. But then let's go over here. So I know we have 1 high school right there. We had, I'm wondering if that was just the only high school we had. Like, that's just crazy to think about. I'm starting to think that maybe that was. So now we have just the 1, 2, 3, 4 high schools. We would definitely need to get at least 1 more in. I'm kind of wondering. This one's a little bit disconnected, but I'm wondering if we could connect this up. And again, these people would be furious. And here we are, just destroying all their dreams. So we're gonna go just like this. And then now let's see. We're gonna nix that idea after just demolishing all those poor homes. Yeah, we'll go ahead and go like this. Just allow them to build back. Okay, and so just a few seconds later, I went ahead and just added in this one over here. We're not going to really play around too much with much over here, though we may end up adding in one of our universities over here as well. But this is going to be the site of a larger kind of downtown development that we're going to be doing on the next episode, just because we really want to get this education in place. And so now we're at a pretty good place. We got a capacity of 6,000. So what I'm hoping is as we start, hammering away at this is going to drop down, because a lot of this is just our adults that haven't been able to go in. And at least that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's just a ballooning in teens after the rebalance, because we may end up having to do even just 1 more. But I think for right now, we're going to go ahead and leave that. We could even maybe do 1 right here. This could be good. So I wonder if we place that right there and kind of connect that up. And then that way we might be able to fit this in here. It might end up looking a little weird, but honestly, it would be cool if we got it. And then place in just a few small pathways. And there we go. I think that actually looks kind of interesting. I like that, especially with little pathways in there. And then I just kind of put down some more foliage and trees around the outside. And I think that's pretty good. So this should ideally help us out with our overall. Yeah, so look at that. We have a capacity of 7,200 now, which is fantastic. And so now we're moving on to colleges, and colleges are definitely a little bit stickier. Let's go ahead and click on one of our colleges that we have and kind of see. So that's 1,500 per college, 1,500. So that's definitely kind of a problem. I wonder if this is an extension. No, it's not. So we would need 1, 2, 3, 4. We need a lot. I don't even know if we're going to be able to place as many colleges as we need. We're probably not going to be able to, but we're going to do our best. Let's go ahead and start back here. I think what we're going to do, let's go ahead and place one right on the corner. This is definitely a more prominent location, but I think it's going to be a nice location for this. Especially we can kind of place that like that. And then what we can do is just do a road around it. And then as the city kind of expands out further this way, it's going to be able to kind of build up around this, which I think is going to look really good. And with the empty space right there, what we can do is grab our tennis court and then do a couple basketball courts, especially since this is a college, you would have some sort of sports complex in there. So we actually only need 1 more. And that's actually doable. I think we could do that back here. So let's grab our road now and let's connect this up. So we're going to have this come back. Let's turn on snapping. Have this come all the way back. Go just like that. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and have this road just continue on. And I'm using the regular roads because they provide the street parking. Let's go ahead and bring this all the way up. And it's at a 90 down there, which is fantastic. And then let's go ahead and bring this back. And then I wonder if we can fit it right there. Because this is something that you do see every now and then, where you'll see a high school or even an elementary school right next to a college, especially if it's like a community college of some kind. So then we'll put a little separation in that one, and then that's going to allow us to do a road, and we want it to be right next to that road. Let's have this come down. It's kind of interesting that they didn't do sports for the regular college. Like, I feel like sports would be pretty important, especially like for community colleges and stuff. Like, sports are still a pretty big deal. Yeah, so we'll come in here. Let's go ahead and place 3 of those, and then let's do just a few basketball courts. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and check out that looks. Yeah, that looks great. And the reason I did 3 is because a lot of times at these schools, you'll have just a huge amount of tennis and stuff like that. And so having just one isn't always the most realistic approach. And then this just kind of leaves some room for us to be able to maybe do some commercial in here. What I'm going to do is draw a pathway just covering this backside. And we'll go just like that. Fantastic. And let's go ahead and remove zoning off this corner as well, just because if we get it on this side, it's just going to look a little bit better. And then let's go in, and we're not just going to blanket zone it. I don't think that that is the answer. I think what we're going to do is just kind of spot zone it. And then this kind of leaves room for pathways and stuff like that. And it's not just like a, highly urbanized development with parking lots and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that looks good. And then it would be good for us to maybe get, I'm thinking even just a small bit of high density of some kind, like maybe student housing or something. So if we went like that, and then let's look at some parking. I wonder if we went just like that. And then let's get our North American medium density. Let's go ahead and go just like this. Let's do a row right there, and I'm doing them all the same because I'm hoping that we're going to get some sort of uniformity with some of these, and we may need to go through and kind of play whack-a-mole with some of these, but it just allows us to kind of capture a little bit of a cooler look if you kind of split it up like that. Yeah, you know what? I think that's going to be good because we'll be able to kind of do some pathways and stuff in here. We got that parking lot. I think that's going to look fantastic. And just a few seconds later, I ended up getting those pathways in there. And then now, once again, we just go in. We're going to grab our spruce. I think this is kind of just turned into my favorite tree now. But I think that looks good right there. And I believe that gives us coverage for college. Yes, it does. We're still right there at the edge. So honestly, as we expand out, do some more residential, we're going to just have to pay attention to this. And then looking at our university capacity, I mean, we have 2,000 with an eligibility of 18,000. I don't even know if we're going to be able to reach that. But what I would like to do, and this is a massive building, I want to get the technical university in. And I was kind of thinking over here, because we have the medical university, and I think we're even going to be placing down a building that's kind of supplemental to that. But I'm wondering if even over here too, because I like that this is kind of on a hill. I think that this actually, and it's kind of near this whole education complex, like maybe the technical university like pays for, this smaller college to be nearby as well as the high school and the elementary. So like maybe they would have like pre-university classes or, STEM classes and stuff like that. Oh, you know what? It's actually going to be a little too big. That kind of nixes that. Let's go ahead and check it out on the other side and kind of see what we're looking at. Yeah, you know what? It's going to look a lot better over here. So let's grab our pedestrian road now. And we are going to continue this on. And I don't know if we're going to actually follow that coastline anymore. And then let's grab our big road. And I would prefer this not to create some, mega junction right there. But it looks like it's already has a high potential of doing that. And we do want to be mindful of the ground in here. And you can kind of see even our little pedestrian road kind of dip down a little bit. But let's see if we can fit this in here now, because this is a massive building. Wonder if let's go ahead and have this turn, and then we potentially could even have this go parallel with that road. And then we can grab this and have it just come back. I think this is just going to help us to capture a little bit of a cooler look. We can always come back and change these too. Like, these aren't set in stone. We're just kind of playing around, seeing what works. Yeah, you know what? I actually think that looks pretty cool. It's a massive complex. Huge. So we would want the workshop upgrades, which I wish that added a building, and we would want the extension wing. Yeah, look at that. This is a cool building. I really like this campus a lot. And then let's go ahead and add in some roads going around the outside, and we're going to have a little, potentially an issue with that key right there. We didn't though, which is nice. And then I think we're actually just going to dump it down here. We're not really going to be building too much out here just yet, and so I don't want to get too crazy. And so I think that actually looks pretty good. We definitely have a kind of a weird thing happening over here with the terrain, but I think what we can do is probably just level that out. Yeah, we can. Look at that. Perfect. Yeah, I don't think we're going to mess with too much of this. I like the overall appeal of a lot of that. I think we could upgrade this last little section to a key wall. I think that could be good. Yeah, you know, I think that looks good. Again, we kind of do want to fix this a bit. I think if we leave this like this, I'm just going to be thinking about it like, man, you know, we left it looking weird. So I'd prefer to go this way, and then that way we can kind of have it just end like that, then have this come down. I think what we're going to do is just a little student housing complex similar to what we did on the other side. Student housing's pretty big, you know, I mean, it's hard for people to go to college, and so providing housing is like one of the biggest benefits that you can do. And so what we're going to do is lean first with a parking lot. because a lot of students have a lot of cars and stuff, and so this would be pretty important. Let's go ahead and do one right there as well. I think potentially 2 is good enough, and then let's do one little bit of high density here in the middle. We'll say that maybe this is like a huge university, and so they actually paid to have like a higher density use. I kind of wish, man, I wish that was a little bit better. It's gonna be a little frustrating. So I did mixed use on that front side, and then now let's do some North American medium density, and then that way we can kind of leave some room for pathways, still make it look good, do some parks, because especially, this would be student housing, so this would have all kinds of amenities for the students. And then we just grab our pathways, kind of meander through here again. We're going to have a little bit of an issue. I'm going to turn on anarchy so that we can connect that pathway up. And then let's go ahead and have this follow across. Let's go ahead and do one back here too, just because these would be like nice walking spaces for the students and stuff. Nice. So I think that actually looks pretty good. And then last but not least, I'll just go through and dot around some trees. And just a few seconds later, I feel pretty good about it. I don't know how I feel about that building though. That building looks pretty big. Let's go ahead and cut this down a bit. Yeah, we wouldn't want that full zoning. So if I go just like that, remove that. Yeah, this is going to be so much better. I didn't even think about that. It's going to be too massive if we do like that. Let's go ahead and do one more on either side. Yeah, it's going to be a lot better. Because then we can also come through here. Let's cut that zoning with a path. And then we can do just a small little bit of maybe some more apartments next to it. So we're going to do the NA medium density housing. Let's go ahead and add in just a small bit of this as well. Nice. So I was definitely kind of going for these medium ones. They're still high density, but they're not massive buildings, which I think looks a little bit better. And then for this section, I think we're going to end up kind of waiting. I want to do a harbor of some kind, just because I think that this is going to be cool. We may even extend out our quay walls. But if you guys have any ideas, I was potentially even thinking maybe an island of some kind, just to kind of really exemplify a lot of this. But I think for this area, we'll probably just end up doing like a row of high density. Yeah, so we would want to get like a good amount of high density commercial. And then this would probably even be like some more housing off this side, especially since it has such good access. But if you guys have any ideas for this, go ahead and let me know. On the next episode, we're either going to be building out this section or we're going to be building out this section over here. I was definitely planning on that one, but I think now that I'm kind of looking at this curve, this is going to feel a little bit empty if we don't finish this. But I do want to continue moving on because we still have, a big need for universities. And so we're going to need to place a couple of these regular university buildings down. So we have 4,000. We definitely need to so we have both of our universities over here right now, which both have pretty good access, but we would want to get at least like a small university over here. Yeah, especially this is like our whole little education complex. So I like the idea of putting it over here. Yeah, so let's maybe get rid of that road and then let's level out just a small portion of this, because I know we're right on a hillside. So I think if we level out to the edge of the hillside, it actually might provide us some good little views and stuff. And then let's do the library right next to it. All right, so I think this looks pretty good. I actually really like that we got it kind of on the hillside. I do kind of wish that it was a little bit better. Like, I think this hilly terrain prevents a challenge, but I think what we can do to kind of clean this up a bit is to actually kind of level this out into a nice little space that could potentially even look over the school. Yeah, I think this could be cool. Maybe we could do some more student housing or something like that, because then we can come up here and let's look at that slope. We want to make sure that that's not going to be too crazy. So it looks like it's definitely going to be a little nuts. So let's grab this now, and we want to try to come all the way down to where it's level. Yeah, so right there is pretty good. And then let's trim back this road just a smidge so we can fix that arc a little bit. Then we will come this way, and then let's go ahead and go just like that. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and check that out. So that actually looks good, and it looks like our road actually cleared out pretty well. And then let's do this section now. So I want to bring this up. Let's go ahead and curve it at a 90. Let's just go straight. And then we're going to go at a 90 again, and then have this just dump in. Yeah, you know what? I think this looks great. I really like the additions of this. I do kind of want to get this road in the back though, because I'm thinking if we can get some more sporting stuff, especially since this is a university. I think it would make sense. It would also make sense maybe for the technical university as well. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't add in sports for those. Like, I think it would have just made a little bit more sense for them to have sports for those. Instead, they only added sports for the high schools, which is kind of interesting. This kind of lends for us to be able to kind of meander this around and potentially even connect it up to the other side. I wonder if we could even bridge over the rail lines. Let's go up to 7.5 and see. So if we go this way, yeah, we can have it go across. This is actually going to look really cool. And I kind of want to have it go this way. Well, let's have it go straight and then we'll have it dump in. I think I'm going to go back through and kind of fix that, maybe move it, because I think having this connection in here is actually going to be really nice, especially since there's that highway connection right there. Let's check out our bridge. Bridge looks pretty good from this side. It does not look good from the other side. So let's go in here and fix this. Yeah, that looks a lot better, a lot smoother. And maybe even upgrade this to a 6-lane road. That could probably be good. So that actually looks a lot better. Still just a little baby bump, but you know what? I feel pretty good about it. And then that way, what we can do is go into our parks now and wonder, oh, you know what? Let's, yeah, this could actually be really cool. Let's place that right there and kind of see what it looks like. Yeah, you know what? I like that. I think that looks fantastic. And let's do a small road. And then we know we got to get some tennis courts in here. You can't have a school like this without having tennis courts. And you probably got to have quite a few of them. So I think maybe we'll even add in, let's see if they fit. Does it? No, it doesn't. We'll do basketball right here. Let's do 4, and then I wonder if we can get some tennis over here. And we're doing a lot. We're doing a ton. So if we go just like that, what we can do now is go back here. Let's at least get 2. Yeah, that looks good. I like that we're kind of even on the hillside there. I think that looks awesome. I like that we even got like this whole little education kind of thing going. It's a huge education compound, but I think it looks cool. And I like that we even got this little hillside thing. I think what we're going to do is do some, let's do some NA mixed use on this front side. Let's go just like that. Just because this would be like a little bit of a college town. And so I think having just a little bit of the mixed use would probably be good. Let's get it on this hillside as well, too. It's going to look a little bit weird kind of being on the hillside, but you know what? I think it's going to provide us some cool looks because it is, pretty common to have stuff like this on hills. Like just because there's a hill doesn't mean that they wouldn't build on it. So now we're going to come through here and just kind of splatter them in. I'm skipping some spaces so that we can get detailing in there because I think in this setting, having buildings right next to each other probably wouldn't be the most realistic. Like if you're in a downtown setting of some kind, like having buildings kind of butting up to each other in a setting like this where the value of the land is a little bit higher because of the main road. But I think down here, it would be more about like people on the sides of the buildings being able to see and also just the luxury of being in this beautiful place, kind of overlooking our farmland and this water and everything. So we got a little dent. Look at our college now. This is just never ending. Our college is now ballooned back up. So let's see. So we built a college over here. We built a high school over there. We might have to do a college over there. We did the high school over here. We have that college. Did we get a college over here? I wonder if we could squeeze in a college somewhere, like maybe even right here. You know what? I think this is going to be too small, but let's check it out. So let's turn off snapping and just kind of see if there's any chance for us to squeeze this in there. You know what? I mean, it's not a lot, but I wonder if we move these, and I know this is, the height of realism here, as they say. All right, so we are going to anarchy that in because I have a feeling it's just a problem with some of the building reads or something, or it could just be that it's on some crazy hill. Oh, you know what? That looks okay. And then let's grab this now and move it to the opposite side. Yeah, if we go like that, fantastic. And then what is this? What? We have like some sort of hybrid post office. I don't know how these people are happy with what's going on right there, but that whole thing is just kind of crazy. But let's check this out now. So if we smoothen this out, get it into a nice little slope, I wonder if we could. This is a lot of moving, but you know what? This is all in the name of progress. This would be good. We're trying to get reelected here. These people would be very upset about us, pretty much destroying everything, but we did it backwards. I wanted to do it that way, just to kind of see. Sometimes it's better to just place buildings backwards. I like that we got, the police station, post office, and then we got this over here, because then what we can do, let's grab the move it mod now. Okay, so that actually looks like it's reading over here, and we can even extend that concrete out. And then what I'm thinking is we should be able to grab this now, have it come out here. Fantastic. Look at that. I knew it was going to work this whole time. I was like, this is the spot. Sometimes you can just tell those things, just by looking at it. You're like, this is where this is destined. And then let's soften this up, make it look a little bit more realistic. I think that looks good. And I like that we got it over here too. I think it's going to be good for our downtown. And I think once we get some trees and stuff in here, like if we just jump in here real quick, I'm going to go to one of my brushes. So I'm going to go to the evergreen brush. Then I'm going to pump up that brush strength to 100. And you want to make sure to have anarchy off, because otherwise it's just going to start placing all the trees inside of your buildings. We'll go ahead and just fill all this in just because we want the foliage. Like this is going to make sense. And I'm planning on doing something with this space, and so I don't think we're going to be doing anything with that today. I don't think we added in trees on this side. Like this is definitely kind of getting a little bit farther than where I had added trees. And I think this looks good though. I like that. I actually really like the curve here. I think this is cool. I'm tempted to even just turn this into a key wall right now. I'm kind of wondering. So let's do it just so we can capture the overall look. And then that way what we can do is go in here, grab our level terrain tool, and then go all the way around. Yeah, this is going to look really cool. I'm excited about this. This is going to look awesome. I love like little coastlines like this, especially in real life too. You see this a lot, whenever you have cities that are on coastal regions like this. So let's go ahead and unpause and let that figure itself out. We do need to upgrade this little portion. And I do want to just fix this real quick. So I wonder if we can grab that, and then let's go ahead and page up. Using Move It in this game is a little bit trickier than in the last game. It definitely does require a little bit more clicking, but from what I've heard from the developer, it's just the coding in this game is just a little bit more of a challenge. Yeah, there we go. And then let's go ahead and remove this. Let's make sure our zoning's there. Yeah, fantastic. That definitely looks a lot better. It still kind of dips down a little bit, but honestly, I'm not worried about it. And then as we kind of expand out, you can see this whole look just looks really cool now. And so we're going to remove these trees in here. I don't think having trees in the water is the best thing to do. Yeah, so now we can bring that back. And then I think I'm just going to do some more high density commercial in these little sections. Yeah, I think this will be good. Maybe even some NA mixed use. We'll go just like that. And let's go ahead and fill that in too. The one thing with the mixed use that I like is they tend to fill in the corners a little bit better. We are getting a crazy amount of traffic over here. Let's remove these lights. This is kind of frustrating too, just all those taxis. We're definitely going to need to provide a little bit better access. Having this one access way is proving to be a pretty big issue, especially, it would be good if we could get a roundabout in here. I just don't even know. Maybe even a small one. It's not ideal, but better than nothing. At least it's going to allow some of this traffic to go through. We're just getting so much taxis over here, though. I think this is going to look cool. And I actually kind of like this building. These buildings, we did get a lot of replicas, but there's enough subtle differences to where I think it's not going to make a huge difference. But I think this college looks good. We provide a little bit more accessibility. So we're right there at the 7,500. I really don't know if we're going to be able to do it with the universities. The universities are a lot. So we got one right there and then two over here. We got the technical university and the medical university. I'm thinking over here next to our high school, again, this is going to be kind of a tough little spot for us, but I think it's actually going to provide a cool little look once we do start getting this into like more of a downtown. So then let's upgrade this road coming down. We're going to want mostly these bigger roads in this area anyways, just because of parking. Yeah, this is going to look cool. And just one more. I think this will be good. Yeah, we'll go just like this. Fantastic. And then actually filled in most of the space too, which is cool. So we'll go just like that. And then let's go ahead and I wonder if over here, this could look good right on the corner. Yeah, we're going to put it right there. I think it's going to provide a certain aesthetic appeal. And then let's go ahead and just kick off some of these buildings, because I feel like if we leave this all empty, it's just going to look kind of weird, really unfinished. I don't like it. So if we go like this and then go 180 down, fantastic. I think that should be even on that backside too. Yeah, so we're about 5 zones in on that front side, which this is actually, I think we're going to upgrade this to an alley. I don't think that that's going to be good. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. And then this way we can kind of provide a couple little cut throughs as well. So then let's go ahead and do mixed use right here. And then we are just going to probably fill in a lot of this. So let's go like this, go like that, go like this. And then let's do some mixed use. You know, this is actually going to look kind of cool. We're going to come back through and change up a lot of this. But I think for right now, we definitely want to just complete the area a little bit. Definitely got a couple weird things happening with the ground. But this is, you know, again, something that you do sometimes have to deal with when dealing with weird terrain. And so now we're just going to kind of let that grow in. You guys have any ideas for that area? Because I really want to get like the disease building in there, which is a huge one. So disease control. I think we're going to end up doing the disease control building on the other side, though. And then we need to work on some of our trash. And it looks like our ambulances. Medical's actually not doing the greatest either. I wonder if it's only a couple notifications, so we should be doing okay. I mean, we have a hospital over here and our efficiency is looking pretty good on it. And so I think we've made a big dent. I think we solved a lot of our city's problems. We still have room to grow. Like you can see the high school, the college, university, they've already dipped down quite a bit, but we've kind of laid the groundwork for a lot of fun builds. So I think this whole bay over here is really cool. And I think by getting a little island in here, we could actually make it even cooler. We could do some bridges kind of going across, maybe get some hotels or something over there. But man, look at this traffic now. This is just horrendous. And it's got to be all because of this new area. So let's upgrade this little section. And then let's go into our asymmetrics. Asymmetrics are like one of your best tools whenever dealing with traffic. So we'll go 3 going in. And then let's go ahead and go 3 going in this way as well. It adds another lane to that too, which is nice. Actually think that's going to give us a tear. Yeah, it is. It's because we're forcing that. Yeah, we're still going to get that weird kind of tear, but it's just because it's a roundabout. That should help out a little bit though. We definitely need to get some more access though. And we're probably going to have to upgrade our freeways. I might even do that in between episodes. If you guys are interested in seeing a traffic fix, go ahead and let me know. I think for right now, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and jump into a detailing time lapse. I'm going to clean up a lot of the areas, a lot of things that we didn't do. I'm probably even going to clean up around these areas. Like you see these open areas. Just don't like them. I'm going to fill in some more trees, some more pathways and stuff, and just make it look a little bit better. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I will catch you on the other side. Okay, so after quite some time, I am finished, and I just gotta say, I didn't get too crazy with a lot of these areas, but I really like the overall appeal, especially the technical university. I think this looks really cool. And I think we are gonna end up doing like a man-made island or something in here. I think that would just be really fun to see. And so we got quite a few schools in here, and we are definitely having a little bit of an issue with some of these schools not satisfying all the demand, and I think this just is fluctuating. I know that there is now the ability for adults to be able to re-enroll in high school. And so I think that's why this is maybe changing. Maybe it's adults that are choosing they want to or choosing not to. I'm not really sure. But this keeps increasing and also decreasing. So does college as well. So I think as we move forward, we're definitely going to have to build more high school, more college, and more university. We took a really big dent out of it today, especially this whole university kind of schooling compound back here. I did end up extending out our little high school stadium over here. Did some pergolas with some benches and some food stalls and stuff. I kept trying to play around with this fountain to put some benches and stuff, but it just kept disappearing. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to leave it like this. I think it's really cool, especially for game days. This would still be a really fun area to kind of walk in, you know, especially if you're a parent, like coming to one of your kids' games or something. But I think we did some really cool details. I like that we got the tennis courts in here. I like that we put some trees in. We didn't really zone a lot of this stuff, which I think is important. We did kind of get this on some sort of weird big hill, but I like that we got some commercial in here as well. And then we definitely messed up this whole section in here, but we ended up getting the North American row housing on this section, which I think looks really good. We could probably even come back through and do some more walking paths or something. But then we got our basketball courts, and we did a couple little pathways with a few tennis courts as well. And then moving over to the other side, I did end up extending out our little downtown a little bit more. I felt like it just kind of looked unfinished. And it still definitely does look unfinished, but it looks a little bit more built up now, which I think is cool. I do really want us to build this out into a bigger downtown, especially since it has this great access to the freeway right there. We could also we have another freeway access point right there. So I think we'll end up growing this way and then building kind of a bigger downtown. We could probably even incorporate it into the lake or something like that. But that is something that you do see in cities. You will generally have one large downtown, but then you'll still have like smaller downtowns where you'll have some sort of incorporation of office buildings or high-rise residential or something like that. And so I think that this is a really fun look. I like this high school in here as well. I really like that we got it on this curve. I think that's cool. It kind of gives it a little bit of a bigger grounds. And so this is kind of a little bit more set back, which I think is a cool look. And overall, I think we did a lot. We got a lot of schools in. We took a huge dent out of that. It's kind of crazy to think that we still have such a huge demand and it's increasing for this at a really rapid rate. And a lot of it just has to do with Economy 2.0, like with the shufflings of the age groups and everything. Like once you go through those death waves, then your population is a little bit more balanced, which I like to see. But it just makes it so that you definitely got to go through and up your elementary and your high school and everything and really get a lot out there. I do wish there was a way for us to just boost up some of these high schools. Like I think the high school being stuck at 1,200 is pretty low. Like I definitely think this should be up near, like you should be able to boost it up to 2,000 or 3,000. And given, that's not an ideal scenario, but I know schools will, just put on like little portables or do little extra buildings so that they can fill the classrooms, because you would still want people to be able to enroll. You wouldn't just turn them away. But maybe in the future they'll do something like that. You can definitely see we're getting some garbage issues with a few of our buildings. On the next episode, we're probably going to be working on this area, but we'll probably have to address some of our service concerns as well. And so if you enjoyed this episode, you will definitely enjoy the episode on your screen. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.